every once a year when Christmas comes, I pack my sled with dolls and drums, and I'm on my way with happiness for little girls and boys. Oh, there isn't any place too far. I go wherever children are, always on my way with happiness wrapped up in fancy toys. On my Christmas list I've names and places.
Though we've never seen their faces, we know each one and the good they've done.
Over hill and dale again this year, I brought glad tidings and a good cheer. So until another Christmas day, when I pay another call, I'll say Merry Christmas to all. Merry Christmas.
Hey, kids, I bet he's asleep now, I bet you. I feel sorry for Santa.
Yeah, man. He's sure tired and worn.
Yeah.
His house looks so wacky-hacky-hula.
Him claws very Anton.
See, he helped everyone at Christmas, but no one they think of Santa Claus.
Well, we could do something for Santa if we only just tidied his house.
Santa! Ja, danke.
Let's pitch in. 'Cause we want to do something for Santa. We want to make a real big fuss. We want to do something for Santa, 'cause he's always doing something for us.
I'll polish pans that are rusted. Give everyone shiny face. I'll see that the furniture's dusted and things in proper place.
I'll scrub the floor all clean and neat. No spot will pass my nigh.
I'll shine his shoes with a boogie beat, and here's the reason why.
Oh, we know we owe much to Santa for making every Christmas gay. We want to do something for Santa.
Come in our little bay. Thank him for the happiness that came our way.
Oh, we know we owe much to Santa for making every Christmas gay. We want to do something for Santa, and in our little way, thank him for the happiness that came our way.
What's that?
Merry Christmas, Santa!
A Christmas present for me?
And a one fish, two fish. I don't hear myself. Is my sound on? Am I switched over to speakers? No, I'm on the wrong headphones. Speakers. There we go. No, I'm on the wrong headphones. Hey Charles, how are you doing? There we go. And we got Josh I'm sorry. Hey Charles, how are you doing? There we go. Oh, hold on. And we got Uvuco official in the house, baby. Yo, Leo, how are you doing? Let me just double check and make sure my sound's okay on YouTube. I think it is. Are you my YouTube? You look like my YouTube. You smell like my YouTube. My sound's okay on YouTube. I think it is. Are you my YouTube? You look like my YouTube. You smell like my YouTube. Okay, YouTube is fine. All right, I am working on an 80s workout outfit, which I'm calling Aerocore. So we're going to do that. I changed the background. we have lost our Christmas background. I'll keep this up for, I guess, until maybe I'll change it again next Saturday. We'll see. The only problem is my 2026 is getting cut off. I don't know if I'm going to fix that or not. Anyhow, we're looking forward to the new year, I guess. Yay. Where did I leave off? I'm currently working on a workout outfit. It is done with Marvelous Designer. I've got the basic morphs on it. I have started the textures. And we'll just kind of see where we are with this. I think I have to clean the mesh up some. So I think we're going to be doing a little bit of mesh cleanup. I have to think about what I'm going to do after this too. I'm trying to crank out an outfit a week. So that seems, and if I could get faster than that, I would. The secret with selling it to Az is just to try to, well, at least that is for me, is just to try to keep getting new products in. Builds up the back catalog. It gets you on the front page. It gets your old catalog on sale. So trying to keep those new items cranking out. Yo, I'm only a big child. How are you doing? Let's do a little round of shoutouts here. I'm not sure if Charles is in a comfortable position to do shoutouts, so I'll go ahead and do them for right now. Anyhow, check out our good friend Uwuko Official. Super cool cat. Does art a lot, but on Saturdays, when I usually get the chance to rate him, he does movie night. So that's been kind of cool. I don't know. Did you show Gremlins this year, or was that me watching Gremlins? I can't remember. Anyhow, it's all sorts of cool stuff. Hey, yeah, Merry Christmas. I'm only a big child. Also, stream. Let me get this. Let's get the shout outs done. That was me. Okay, you didn't show Gremlins this year. You show movies like Gremlins. That would be very much in your wellhouse of things that I might have seen. I did catch Starman. Starman was cool. There's Charles. Charles is trying to do the shout out. I'm going to stop trying to do the shout out then. And I'm going to... You have in the past. Well, that makes sense. I like Gremlins. Gremlins is my holiday film. What am I doing? I'm shouting out Charles. Exclamation point CS. That's what we want to do. And thank you for shouting out I'm Only a Big Child. Everybody, make sure you're following Josh. Make sure you're following I'm Only a Big Child. Plays The Legend of Zelda. I don't know if Leo... Hey, Leo, if you got any links or anything you want to share to your works or whatever, or, you know, I don't think you stream, but if you do stream, feel free to just drop a bunch of links in there, and I'm going to try to remember to do something with them. Probably not, but it's aspirational. I'll be aspirational about that. Anyhow, here's how our outfit is looking so far. I have some stuff that needs fixing, so we're going to fix that up. Let's switch over to this. I think the crotch has got issues. I got a little bit of the tights clipping into the suspender leotard, and I've got a little poke through there. So we're going to fix that up. So I'm going to export this to Blender. You got the audio up where I can hear, but I'm not going to be back and forth different pages doing stuff on the computer. So, hey, no worries, man. It's always a pleasure to see you, Charles. And I know it can be difficult sometimes to be here. That's perfectly fine. So I'm going to fix that. We're going to just push this over into Blender because I don't have a really good way to fix this in ZBrush. ZBrush, I can't quite isolate the different layers. So we're going to send this out as an OBJ, pop it into Blender, tweak the meshes just a little bit. I have to clean this up in its presentation over here. We got to make this stuff look all nice and pretty. So we're going to do that, and then I'm going to do this with the Genesis 8 version. Then we'll look at maybe setting up some textures for this. And I don't know if I've got time left over around 3 or so. I might think about starting something else for next week's project. I was kind of thinking about a summer camp outfit, but I don't know. I think somebody may have did 70s summer camp, which would be like shorts and a t-shirt and Converse with socks. But I don't know. I've reached that point where the stuff that I really wanted to do, I have actually gotten done. I'm exporting. All right, let's select that. We got to do a couple things before we export this. We have to come over here, switch the resolution to base. I'm going to turn off the smoothing. I'm going to hit the export button, and I'm going to save that right there. I'm going to say yes to that. There's my export settings. We're going to pop over to open up Blender. I think I'm using 5.0 still. I haven't upgraded. I don't know. Let's take a quick peek and see if there's an update yet. It's been a month. There's probably an update. Blender is one of those things that updates really regularly. Blender.org. 5.0. It looks like we're still on 5.0. It's the latest and greatest. So I don't think I have to download that. I don't. Let's take a look at the download page. There we are. We're at 5.0.1. I don't feel the need to get that just yet. I think the 5.0.0 is fine for now. You got the, that's just Charles. Okay, get rid of that. Let's do an import. That's an export. Let's try an import. That's an import. Projects. I have this in my 80s folder, and I'm calling this AeroCore. Basically, it's an aerobics outfit, but I want to call it something a little bit different. And ChatGTP reminded me that saying something core is like a cool thing now. Like steampunk core and pinup core and yada 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 core. So we're going with AeroCore. And there's the one we just saved. I am going to break this outfit apart, but for right now, we're working with it in all one giant chunk. So what I need to do is get the tights. And let's get a Genesis 9 in here to fit it against. And that's the wrong, no wait, I keep Genesis 9s right over here. And right there. I want to make sure that I don't inadvertently clip into the figure. We'll put on a little proportional editing, put the move tool on. We're going to adjust our fall off. I'm going to tweak that so it only affects the connected, so it won't grab the stuff on top. At least that's the plan. Kind of get that. See, I'm pushing in a little bit. Maybe pull that out a little bit. I can't see what I'm doing. Oh, at that point right there. Okay. And then we'll just kind of pull that out a little. That should kind of help with that. That other side is looking all right. Okay, so we had this little pokey through in the tush. So I can just kind of take this and bring it up a little bit. What am I looking for? I think that one right there. And we'll also pull this down and out a little bit. Kind of like so. I might smooth a little bit of this out while I'm in here. Maybe, maybe not. Should I just take, you know what, I'm going to leave those like that. Probably okay. I'm just double checking all the other. I think this is good. Those are the adjustments I want to make with this. So we're going to re-export out that mesh. We're going to use our DAZ preset because that basically is selected only. It's not a default setting, but you have to check it. So I just, that and a couple other things down here are my DAZ presets. Oops, I forgot to name it. Dang. It went out as untitled. I want to, you know what, I'm just going to overwrite this one. And then we're just going to pop over here, select that, and we're just going to update the geometry. And we're just updating the vertex position. And we're just going to use, nope. That's the one we just saved, right? The O2. Except that, okay, this is set up for a different scaling, so I got to tweak that just a little bit to 10,000. Oops, I lost track. 10, 1, 2, 3. There we go. That's a little better. And we don't have our little goofy. And let's just do a quick. I think my socks are going to fall down. So we need to make some D-force adjustments. I think I'm going to do that right now. As you can see, our leg warmers are just sliding right down right now. So we'll just tweak some settings in here. So I'm just going to grab all of this. I'm going to dial the dynamic strength back on everything to 0.9 instead of 1. And then the leggings have these cuffs at the top. We're going to make those even stiffer. So we'll just make those 0.5. I'm going to reset the resolution on that. Oh, you know what I wanted to do? I want to add an extra material zone in here so that I can do stupid tricks on the straps. So, you know, I think we'll do that too. Let's switch over to this and let's slide into wire shaded. And you know what, right here, I'm going to make a new material zone called straps. Suspender leotard _ straps. And then we're going to have strap trim, which will be these areas right here. So here, let's do this. Content library. Nope. Tool settings. There we go. Right here in surfaces. Create surface. And this is suspender. I am typing in nowhere. Damn it. _ leotard _ straps. And I'm going to do that. And I don't know, I don't think that got created because that says 0. So we'll just do sign selected faces like that. And then I'm also going to set up, I'm going to select that and that. And we'll kind of do the same thing. This time I'm going to remember to create surface from selected. Suspender leotard straps trim. And accept that is good. We'll do the same thing. We're going to kind of work these out on these edges. That and that. Well, now that I have this, I can just come over here and assign. And I'm going to assign that to straps. I'm going to have to do this to the Genesis 8 version as well. Then we come to the back and do the same thing. So that is that and that and that. Those are going to be straps. And that and that. Straps trim is good. Now I'm going to just hide that and hide that. And let's see if I can... Does this loop select? I don't think this is going to loop select. Are you going to loop select? Or do I... You know what? I may just take my time and kind of grab these manually. Once I have this grabbed, I can easily grab the straps or the trim. So assign that. I'm going to hide it again just so I can kind of see where I'm moving along. Assign that. We'll come up over the top. Oh, I clicked through. I didn't. What the? Seriously? Am I seriously clicking through? Oh no. It didn't seem to. I am inadvertently grabbing underneath there, aren't I? Damn it. I have to reassign you back to the shirt, I think. So select that one right there. So I should hide the shirt. That's what I need to do. The top. I called it the top. There we go. And you know what? We'll hide the top. I just hit the top collar. We'll hide the top. We'll hide the top trim as well. So I can just focus. Nope. Okay, this is the straps. And I'll just keep hiding those as I go so I can kind of see what I'm doing. And then we got to do this the other side. These are a little larger, so it's easier for me to select. All right, that's good. And then I'm going to hide that. And now what I can do is I can just grab that, and is it Control Multiply, selects all the connected. So those are now isolated islands. So I can just select them as because they're collected, and then assign them to that and hide that. And that lets me know that I am doing well there. Okay, do the other side now. Boop, 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 boop. I don't have to keep hiding it. I'll have to hide it eventually, but these are a little trickier to select. They're just a little closer together. Oops. There we go. All right, moving along. What am I doing? There we are. It's good. And now I should be able to just hide that. Select these. Select the connected, and then assign those over to straps trim. I'm doing this because I want to be able to change the D4 settings on these separate from the rest of it. Also, I'm going to add a morph to make these wider. And I already have, so we'll do that in a minute here. So these are good. These are all ready to go. You know what I have to do, because these are new surfaces, we have to add D-force to them. And I'm just going to copy and paste from here to these two new, like, so did I not, I didn't even copy. That's my problem. All right, copy selected surface, straps and straps trim, and paste, and we're good. And now what I can do is I can tweak the D4 settings on this. I think what we'll do next is we'll make the morph for widening the straps. Okay, it's a little tricky to do, but we can do this. Am I missing? Oh, that's still hidden. All right, let's go back to tools and turn that back on. Okay, we're going to pop over into, you're just close. Okay, we're going to add it here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to slide, I think from here to here. I'm going to do this in parts. So we're going to slide these out, and then I'm also going to slide the trim out, and then we're going to clean up the edges a little bit. And I have to do this on each side, and the front and the back. So this can take a little bit of time, but it'll give me a nice widened strap more when we get done. So we're going to GG, and that lets me slide, and then I hold the Alt key down, and that lets me slide out like that. And I think I'm going to bring it out like so. And you know what? I'm just going to match the other side like this. And then we just do the same thing. And I'm just going to kind of visually try to match that. Then we're just going to slide these to kind of give me that even like so that these are about, you know what, it's still a little. So I want these to be about the same as this. And just do the same thing with this one. Just slide that until it's kind of like that. Then I'm just going to tweak a couple of these. Just kind of smooth that out. I think I need to take that one farther, actually. Until I have a nice transition through there. I'll do the same thing over here. And then tweak these to give me that nice line. So I can kind of keep an even. I hit the wrong button. Let's try this again. I like that. All right, let's see if we can do the same thing here. I think I'm going to start here and roll up into here. Does that look about the same? I think that got a little wider, didn't it? I think that's good. So just the inside. Oops. Did you? That's good. This is one of the most tedious morphs I make. All right, then we'll just kind of tweak the connection here. Oops. And yeah, you would probably get some texture stretching if you had a pattern on here. I think I'm going to make a couple, just 2 patterns for this outfit. It's mostly going to be solids. Dang it. I keep forgetting to use the Alt key. I had a thought for what the patterns are going to be, but now I've forgotten what that was. think that's going to be fine. All right, let's do the back. Let's come from here. And then I'll do the there to there. With this sliding, I kind of have to have everything sort of moving in the same direction. So that's the reason why I'm kind of doing little chunks at a time. So I think that looks nice. Did I not hold my... Oh, I see that. I lost it. Why am I not... Oh, that's got the wrong... That's better. I had part of the shirt selected. Bad, Chris. It gives you these really cool lines. Kind of shows you where you're heading with these things when you're sliding away. And you know what I think I'm going to do is I think I'm going to kind of do the other side before I get too far gone with this. I don't know where you go. Maybe right about in there. So I can sort of visually pay better attention this time to what they're looking like. That's a little wider than the other side. I think that does the trick. All right, we'll fix these. Not that one. Probably good enough. Same thing over here. Not that one. All right. All right, we'll tweak these. This one I'm probably just going to have to move because of the weird angle there. So I'm just going to G key that and turn off my proportional editing. Just going to drag that into a better spot because I'm not going to really be able to slide that in better. This one I can probably slide. Although I screwed that up. I was reaching for the control, for the Alt key, and I grabbed something else instead. No. Hold the Alt key. There we go. A little bit more. Alt key. Pull it out. All right, let's get you lined up maybe in there. And then adjust these. And then do the same thing over here. Should be okay. Then I come over here, we'll fix this side. Kind of the same drill. And then we're going to fix the shoulders. This one I'm just going to move. That one, you know what, I think I'm just going to move that a little bit too. That's probably okay, so I'm not going to touch that. Bring these guys in like that. And it'll probably be smoothed out a little bit further with the smoothing. Damn it, I forgot the Alt key. With the smoothing in DAZ. We'll further make this look a little bit better. That's probably good there. All right, I think we can live with that. All right, let's tweak the shoulders now. Shoulders have a weird angle because I actually pinned them to the. I wonder if I just want to grab these and drag them over. Maybe kind of do that. And then maybe same thing with these. Although, let's try doing something clever. Oh no, not clever. If I just relax that. I probably should just tweak these a little bit like so. I ended up going the wrong way. That's fine. I'm clipping into the shirt a little bit in here. So I think what we need to do is we'll put a little proportional editing on there. We'll just pull that up a little bit. Get it up out of that. And maybe we could just move you over a little and line that up so it's kind of a little straighter. Oops. We forgot the Alt key again. All right, and then we'll put these into place. I probably should have done these all together. Oh well. Is that going to be okay? I think so. All right, then we're just going to do the same thing over here. Let's just try this from here to here. Slide that out. I'm gonna have to tweak that manually a little bit. I don't know, can we just maybe relax that? I think that helped a bit. And then let me see if I can get away with just sliding those. And then we'll just relax that a little bit. Give it a nice, more even. It is good. Although we do want to pull that up. Maybe just a little. Because we're clipping the shirt underneath now. That's probably fine. You know, I'm going to call that my widened strap morph. I think that's going to be good enough. Because when we use D-Force, those straps are going to shrink up a bit, so it's nice to be able to thicken them up a little afterwards. All right, let's export you. I'm going to put you over here into the whip. And you know what? I'm going to make a morph folder. Morphs. Here we'll do adjust strap width. Did I spell that right? I think I did. Make sure. Yeah, nope, that's an import. Once again, I have accidentally selected import instead of export. So cancel that. Activate export. Put that into the morph folder. Let's use that. I just copied this name on the clipboard, so I didn't have to type it. I try to avoid typing wherever possible. All right, should be good. Let's see how this looks on here. And then we'll see how it fits for our target, Genesis 9 female, feminine shape. I have you selected. Let's activate the import. Choose morph file. Let's go to whip morphs. Adjust strap width. Accept. I think that worked. Let's pop over here. Much better. Yay. All right, I'm going to tweak the D-force on the suspenders now. The suspenders, the straps, and the strap trim. So for the leotards, let's set the suspender leotard. Let's set that to shrink a little bit so it just tightens up. Also, I want to add a little bit more of a cleaving offset. So I'm going to say 0.35 on that. And we're just going to come down here to the expansion ratio and change that to 95. And then for the straps, I'm going to make that actually 85. So those will all tighten up. And hopefully a little bit extra in the collision will help keeping it from going in too much. And you know, with that wider strap, looking a little better. I might dial that strap in by default. I feel like I'm getting a little bit of clipping over here, but we'll let the sim run and then we'll just take a look and see if we're getting any issues. I'm getting a little bit of issue there. And we got a little bit of an issue here. Partially, it might be from the smoothing. I am set to generic. So if I turn the smoothing off, no, it's still clipping. There's a setting. I'm going to see if that makes a difference. I have this. This is changes the settings for the default D-force. I'm just going to experiment real quick and see if that actually helps this go away. What this does is it sets the simulation to the best setting, and it also makes it a collision based on the actual subdivide mesh versus the actual mesh. So let's try that. Let's take a look over here and see if that actually, but it would be nice if I don't have to do that. My backup position is you're just using crappy D-force settings. However, I ideally would like it to work with the default settings, given that most users aren't probably playing with the D-force settings and probably haven't even read the fact that in every description I mention this thing, and I have a sneaking suspicion most users don't even know it's still there. Also, that runs a lot slower. You see how much slower that ran? Because basically we've quadrupled the number of quads. And we're getting a little bit of... So I think I'm going to... If we turn you off... Yeah. Maybe we'll make you 0.4. I'm going to play with that. We'll try that. Also, I do want to tighten this up. Let's set the hose. I really should have added a trim on the bottom of this. I don't know. Can I... Right in here, I probably should have added an extra... I might be able to still. Hose trim right down here. I think I'm going to do that. We're going to make another surface down in here. We're going to hide that. So here, we'll go back into the tool settings. The leggings are in the way, so we're just going to hide the leggings so I can see what I'm doing. And then what I want is this one little row. Oh no. That's not a clean. That's not a clean. Up there. Damn it. That spirals. How do I want to handle that? Maybe I'll just make that a trim. Had I been thinking about this from the beginning, I would have set up a little trim zone in there. You know what, I'm just going to go ahead. It's on the bottom of the foot. It's actually should be covered by the legging, but it looks a little weird. I would still like to have that in there, so let's do this. This is going to be hose trim. I don't think I have a hose trim. Except that, hose trim. Excellent. We're just going to come up through here. Come through here. Add that to the hose trim. Select through there. Add that to the hose trim. Grab these little, let's add that to hose trim. Excellent. All right, let's put run the D-force so it'll make sure there's D-force on there. Then what I'm going to do is just grab, you know what, hose waist. Copy that, come over to hose trim, paste that. Let's tweak the D-force. Let's add a little bit of, where are we at? Why am I not seeing any D-force on here? I'm seeing it there. I'm seeing it there. 1, 2, 3. All right, I see my D-force now. Never mind. Bend stiffness. Oh, you know what? Let's just make sure bend stiffness is 0.1 for everything. Dynamic strength. We have changed some settings, but not on the hose. So dynamic strength. Let's make you 0.9. I tweaked the no, I didn't. I tweaked the waist. The waist should be 0.5. So it holds its shape. And you know what? I think we'll tweak the trim too to be 0.5, so that kind of holds in place. And then we're gonna add a little adjust our contraction and expansion on that. And I'll say 90 on that. So the hose will shrink up a little bit. Let's try that. I might also add a little bit more to the offset. I think that's doing okay. I'm going to cancel that. I don't need to see that run. All right, let's clear this. Let's reset. Let me, we're going to clean up our Morse. We're going to resave this in a couple minutes here. So let's actually, right here, we're going to move this to our adjustments. So I'm going to make you, actually, I'm just going to move you because then we can just cancel that. Oh, right here. Actor, adjustment. There we go. Accept. Now let's come over here. I'm going to select everything. Oops, let's go into edit mode. Delete. Now we're just going to select everything. And we're going to put limits on that. Enable limits. Okay, now we're going to tweak the colors of all of this. So we'll set our presentation on that. It's green and black. Say OK. So that gives those dials all that color. Let's set the group on that so they're all in the same. So we'll set our property group. and we're just going to make it all actor adjustment. Accept that. Okay, so now I've got a bunch of these. I've got garbage names, and some of these I'm not going to keep. And when we start breaking these up, so at some point this is going to become a top, the suspender leotards, the hose, and the leggings. Also, we have armbands and headbands, sweatbands, classic 80s look. Those are actually in a separate figure though, and I can split those up pretty easy. Is this all good? Nope. We're going to come over here and we're going to start cleaning up these names. That just should be expand all. And then we come down here and then we have all of these. Do I have things that say loosen? I do. I have a loosen elbow, loosen midriff, and a loosen neck, loosen short sleeves, and a couple of loosen waists. I'm going to save this and we're going to delete some duplicate morphs. Before we do that, let's get these leggings visible again. I'll just come over here and turn those back on. All right. Let's save this as a figure prop asset. Right over that. AeroCore outfit. Say yes. All of this should be good. So what we're going to do is we're going to pop over the data directory, remove some of the duplicate morphs, and then load it back in. So let's go to projects, 80s, and AeroCore, and we're running over here to the data directory. And we are looking for the outfit G9, which we're currently working on, and morphs, and me, and the base, and these are all the morphs that are currently in the outfit. And we're looking to clean up the loosen morphs, because I got a few duplicates in here. So we have all of these. And then and then down here there should be things like loosen elbow, loosen midriff, loosen neck. We'll start with those. So do I have a loosen elbow? Nope. I do have an extra loosen neck, so I'll get rid of that. Short sleeve, waist lower and waist upper. So we're coming up here. Lace forward, lace upper, and I don't see a short sleeve in here, so we're probably good. So we'll get rid of those. And that should be okay. Now we'll clean this stuff up again. So reload. Come over here. You know, I'm going to make this a little bit wider so we can kind of see. Still can't see. Right in here. These have got these garbage names, so we're going to fix these to be more, just easier to read. Basically, we add that extra space in there, and we get rid of this stuff. And I do have some texture maps. So we're going to throw on a generic white texture for right now. I'm probably going to... Oh, and I remembered what my patterns were. Leopard and Miami leopard. There we go. I need a leopard pattern for this outfit. Alrighty. I think we're good. What's in morphs? Do I need that? I have no idea what you are. I have a sneaking suspicion that You know what? I'm just going to move you to someplace else. Oh, you're left over. I don't even need that. You know what? Let's just delete that. But I also have to delete it from the over here. And I forgot what that was called. Damn it. Which means it'll just come back later on because I can't remember which one of these is that, what that was. Nope, it's gone. It'll pop back up later, then I can find it. Okay. I'm going to throw the textures on here for right now, and then we're going to save this out again, and then we'll work on the Genesis 8 version. And then we can come back, and maybe I'm ready to start saving this out into separate parts. I think we might be. Yeah, all right. You know what? I'm gonna put the textures on this later. I think we're good. I gotta resave this. And I'm just going to resave the morphs just to make sure that they do get saved. Sometimes they feels like they don't quite get saved when I do this. So just to be sure, I'm going to do this. Say base, and I'm just going to make sure all the morphs are specifically saved out. Okay, so everything we just did with this, we're going to do with the Genesis 8 version. Maybe it'll go a little bit quicker now. Maybe I'm being overly... Was that actually attached? That wasn't. I gotta resave that because it wasn't. We're gonna do this. You are fitted too, except you are in the wrong spot. You should be right there. Okay, let's resave this now that it's parented properly. Yo, Tesno Pesno, how are you doing? Good to see you. Everybody, follow our good friend Tesno Pesno. Super cool cat. So cool, he's got his own command. There you go. Thank you, Charles. Just came home from Southeast Asia a couple days ago. Ooh. Was that fun? I hope you enjoyed yourself. I went to Southeast Asia and all I got was this crappy t-shirt. No. It's hot there. Oh, come on. Are we good? I'm good. I'm deleting this now. I think I can just do this. And we're moving on to the Genesis 8 version. I probably shouldn't delete that. That's probably a mistake. I'm going to bring it back and we're going to save this as a whip and then I'm going to hide it. There were positives and negatives. Okay. Was it a vacation? Kind of want to go back instantly. But it was too hot there. I'm sorry. Being temperature uncomfortable the whole time can make a trip difficult. Alrighty. I'm gonna undo a couple of things. We're gonna come back to this. I'm gonna file, save as, scene. Let's go to promos. Let's see. What am I calling you? You are AeroCore, right? I'm going to save you in here, and you're going to be whipped. Oh, too, because I'm lazy that way. Okay, and then we're just going to hide that and leave it in the background in case something goes horribly wrong. And then we'll reload in. And then we'll do the Genesis 8 version. Yeah, let's see. Do I need you? I may still update this base geometry a little bit. But we'll see. Actually, I'll probably update the base geometries of the individual parts later on. So, you know what? I'm going to leave you there. I'm going to hide that and hide that. How are you coming along? Nope, you're still loading. And we'll just run over here. And we'll take you and put you on. And what we're going to do is we're going to... Do I need to tweak? What is going on? Something is dogging my system out in the background. We're going to bring up Task Manager and seeing if there's something I can shut down. So what's using up the CPU right at the moment? DAS, that makes sense. OBS, that makes sense. I don't know, maybe I will shut down Blender. I'm not even doing anything in DAS, and look at it, it's just churning away with CPU. I'm going to switch back. Oh, that's right. We're going to set up some material zones. So if I go back to texture shaded, does that help smooth things out a little bit? You know, it's still running a little wee bit rough. Oh, well. Hopefully it's not stuttering the stream. I don't know, what is OBS? Does OBS say I haven't got any problems? OBS says I'm perfectly fine. Okay, so it's just DAS being DAS. Maybe I should just shut DAS down and relaunch it. I think we'll do that. After we went to all that time waiting for Genesis 8 to load up. Oh no! So we got 6 inches of snow last night, so I had about an hour of fun clearing that off the driveway. Yay. Remember, kids, don't get a long driveway if you live in snow country. I do have a snow thrower, but even then it took about an hour. Fortunately, it was fairly light and fluffy snow. That's good. It was in the 20s the whole time. All right, I think DAS finally stopped, which means we can try and load it again. It wasn't ready to load. Let's try this now. Let's try it again. There it goes. Oh yeah, big news for all you DAS users out there. 3D Light will no longer be supported after the, I think it's the 29th. DAS will be having a version update that will no longer include 3D Light. I don't know if anybody's actually using it. Jay mentioned it over in his Discord. The reason is they just don't feel they've got the user base using 3D Light anymore. that justifies them still paying for a license for it to include it in the DAS. So they aren't. So if you are a 3D Light user, make sure you got an older copy of DAS that you can keep running. You never heard that before? Yeah, well, they had a banner running across the top of their page saying they were getting rid of it soon. If you go to the DAS store, and I got the reasoning for the licensing stuff. Jay mentioned that over our good friend Jay Veraluz, or the WP Guru. I don't know. Is it W? I call it J. It's a J command. That's right. All right. Drop that onto there. Let's switch over to the headlamp. You know, I don't think. Oh, we got a little bit of a pokey through issue right there. So we're going to clean that up. Then we're going to make these straps bigger. We're going to add the extra material zones in here and down here. You know what? I forgot to add the one on the other side, didn't I? I'll remember to get that later. Okay, so let's select that. Let's come over here. Let's go over to our mesh resolution, set you to base. Let's turn the smoothing off. Let's export the selected. I'm going to call you G8 female 02. Save that. Accept. All right, we're going to launch. We got Blender here waiting for us to bring in. That's an export. That's the import. There we go. From the whip file, that right there. I think it's coming from the smoothing. So I think we're just going to pull that out a little bit. Am I still connected only? Okay. So we're just going to do that. Do that. Let's export that over that. And let's see if this. Also, am I set to generic? I am set to generic. Okay. Let's update the geometry, just the shape with this. There we go. That kind of fixed that out a little bit. All right, let's do add our extra material zones in here. Wire shaded. Okay, so last time we did that there, that there. I'm gonna run over here and grab that and that. Over to tool settings. Am I in the right? I am in the right one. Okay. So many faces. Create surface from selected. This is going to be suspender leotard straps, and this should be the same as what is on the Genesis 9 version, because we're going to try to use the same morph or material files later on. So that is good. We're going to hide those guys. Then we're just going to grab these. And you know what? I'm going to just then create that. Suspender leotard. Straps. Trim. Accept that. And let's hide that. And then we'll slip over to the other side. And you and you. And you and you. Should be good. Excellent. I'll just grab those. Select the connected. Slide it over to those. And then do the other side. This is going a little quicker than the other one. Having done one, it always seems to go faster the second time. You just get better at something, I suppose. Excuse me. All right, is good. And then we grab these and connected and assign, and we should be good. I'm going to bring those back. And what we need to do is we need to reapply D-force so that it will add the D-force to these new surfaces. Actually, and before I should have done this before that. So I think I can loop select this one. Geometry selection, select loop. No, you're spinning around too, aren't you? Oh no. All right, we have to do this in baby steps. All right, let's hide the legging so I can see what I'm doing here. Nope. And this is going to be hose trim. That's what we were calling it before. On the Genesis 9 one, I only did one side. I'll have to go back and do this for the other foot. Oh, I see. You wrapped around funny there too, didn't you? Baby steps to 4 o'clock. Yes. I haven't seen that movie in the longest time, but I use baby steps a lot. Nope. Are you wrapped all the way around? You are. Okay. Then we got to go do the other foot. That's got a weird little step in it. It's like a strange little quad there. It's like my sewing didn't get quite lined up there in Marvelous Designer. And one more to go. There we go. And my hose trim is added. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to steal the material settings from the other one we just did. So anyhow, I do have to apply the D-force. And let's come, and what I'm going to do is, let's come over here. That needs to be changed. Can I rename you? So we're just going to load this in. Then I'm just going to save the material settings on here. I'll just call it Matt. This is just a temporary. And Genesis 8's going faster because the a lot of the thinking that goes into what I need to do is already done. And so now it's just a matter of executing it. So when this comes back, we're going to apply that map file to the Genesis 8 version. Save that out. I got to bring the leggings back in. All right, you know, make them visible. All right, that's done. I don't think I need you anymore. Let's get the leggings visible again. Well, let's just, I think I can just apply that map file now, right? Did you not? So that's not named, right, is it? Let's just double check our names over here. When I applied that map file, one of these didn't change, which means I didn't name it right. Also, I don't think you can see I didn't add that material zone there. I'll fix that later. So let's do, come over here to surfaces. That's this hose trim. That's this hose trim, so I think those are fine. That says suspender leotard straps. I misspelled straps in one of these. That one right there is misspelled. So that's, damn it. I have to remember to rename that. I left the R out. I can't tell you how many times I've misspelled, so that one's fine. So, you know what? We're just going to apply that. I'm just going to come over here and copy and paste the settings on there to here. Should be fine. I'm going to remember I still need to clean up a couple of the surfaces on here. We want to bring those, we want to make the leggings visible again. And then save it. Let's just double check and make sure we're pairing it correctly. Yep, okay. I'm going to do that. We're going to navigate over to the Genesis 8 and save over that. Say yes. That all should be good. All right, let's adjust the strap width. So yeah, we just saved this. So this is over here. So I can just adjust this. So I think what I'm going to do is come from here to, I want to try to go a little bit farther this time. That's not, which means I probably clicked on the wrong point. Bring that out like so. Try that again. I am clicked on the right thing. There we go. That's good. Bring that out like that. I think I want that one there. To here. Did you not? Which means, did I screw this up again? I did. That looks good. I think that's fine. I'll do the back. I'm going to get a weird overlap over here. We'll fix that later. I should do this side first, I think. Probably good. I think that's fine. Oh, I didn't do this side yet, did I? I thought I did. I guess not. That's going to go, you know what? I'm not going to do that one. I'm going to move that by itself. Does that look even? Fairly even. Even enough. All right, we're going to tweak this. I'm just going to move that one. Oops, let's turn the, we'll just move that one in there. There's a little bit of an offset in there, isn't there? We'll smooth that out, I guess. Can I just relax? Relax those. That kind of works. And do I got goofiness over here? I kind of do. Put a little bit of that on. I'll just pull that up a little bit. And we'll just go check the other side. Kind of pull that up a little. All right, now we'll clean this stuff up. I think I'll come from here to here. Probably fine. Here. Maybe to here. Yeah, I think that'll do. From here to here. There to there. Okay, I got a little bit of nastiness going on in here, so we're going to smooth that out a little bit. So I think that cleans that up a bit. Probably be fine. Okay, now we just want to clean up these connection points down here a little. That's actually not too bad. This one I'm just going to adjust like so. These ones I think I will just smooth out like this. Probably good. All right, moving to the other side. Oh, likewise. This one. And these ones will slide out. Oops, grabbed the wrong one. Probably good. All right, now we'll just touch up the back. Yeah, I'm just gonna have to just do that with. Maybe we just slide you back in a little bit and then touch these up. Probably okay. Getting there. Okie dokie. You know what? I think I'm going to slide these two over just a little. Probably good. All right, I think that's going to be my widen straps. Okay, activate X6 for export. Let's come into morphs. It just straps with. I'm going to copy this. Or actually, let's make a new folder. G8 female. And export that. And then we come back into here. That is selected. Select the parameters, morphs. You know, what are you? Yeah, I don't need you, whatever you are. ZBrush morph. You're old school. Those need to go somewhere else. Anyhow, let's load in our morph target. There we are. Load in morph target. Choose the morph file over here. Adjust straps width. Accept. Whee! I think that works. All right, we're going to make a couple quick little changes here. We're going to reorganize like we did the arrangement, the way the morphs are in the figure. So let's move you over to adjustment and accept that. And then we'll just come over here to actor and we'll do the same thing. We're going to get into edit mode. I'm going to select all of these and turn the limits on. And then we're going to take all of these and clean them up. We're going to make them all the same color, like we did last time. Set presentation. And for adjustment morphs, I like green and black. And accept that. So now all the styles look the same. And we're just going to set the property group on those to be actor adjustment. And accept that. And then we're going to clean up the loosen morphs. So all of this stuff has got janky names. So we're going to unjanky the names. So basically add that, and actually FBM expand all. I'm going to call you inflate. I have two expand alls. One's left over from the Genesis 9. And one is the one that gets generated when you make Genesis 8 clothings. Okay, loosen chest, add a space, and delete the body underscore BS underscore. And same thing here. And moving right along. Okay, this one is expand all. Nope. Loosen ankles. Buttocks. Collars. Knees. Midriff. Neck. Did I have a neck? I didn't. Okay. Thighs. Ooh. Didn't I just put the limits on these? What the hell? Let's try this again. Limits. Enable limits. All right. That's better. And then we have waist lower and waist upper. Then we're going to save this out. And just to be sure, then after I save as a figure prop asset, I resave the morphs. Just to be sure that they're actually getting saved. Okay. Looking nice and clean. So let's do this. Save over that. I think this is all good. And then we're just going to resave the morphs just to be sure. I've had instances where I feel like I have done the save as a figure prop asset, and for some reason the morphs didn't take. So that's the reason sometimes why I do what looks like redundant steps. I think we're good. I think we're good. I don't know, how's my D4 shedding setting should be more or less what we did on the Genesis 9 version, so it should be fine. We might be getting a little poke through. We're getting a little poke through on the edge. Yeah, I'm gonna have to try to dial that in, get that to work a little bit better. Maybe layers. Layers never seems to work for me though. I don't. So we have suspender leotard, right? And if you look down here in our D4 settings, there's this collision layer. So, you know, in Marvelous Designer, this would work. But Daz, I've never quite really seen that work quite right. I'm getting a little bit of weirdness in here too. I don't think my smoothing is turned on. Yeah, my smoothing's not turned on. That's probably not helping. Anyhow, let's redo this. See how that goes. Is that actually making any sort of difference, or is it looking exactly the same as it did last time? You know, it looks just the same. Let's try this if we put our... I was getting little weird little bumps. You know, with the smoothing and the mesh resolution up, it seems to be working a little bit better. I'm still getting a little bit of strangeness in there. I think we're mostly good with this, though. All right, I'm going to turn that off. I'm going to resave this. I shouldn't have to resave the morphs because we did just do that, and we haven't changed anything on that. All right, we're going to do some textures for this, I think, now, and then and we do have, and maybe we'll add the morphs for the sweatband. We'll break the armbands and the sweatbands off. Let's add that into the scene though for now. So that's what the full outfit's looking like. So I'm thinking I'm going to have way too many colors for this. Oh, oh no. And then we have to have the dirty versions too, right? I'm going to try to keep it to, I don't know. Let me start thinking. We need some neons. We need some base colors. I do want to do a leopard print and the Miami leopard print. So I don't know. Let's do that. I'm gonna save you. File save as. We're gonna save this scene as the other whip, whip 03. Let's do that. I think I'm gonna set up some more textures, and we're gonna start breaking some stuff apart. I am gonna right now the headbands and the waist and the wristbands are in the same object. We'll break those apart for sure, and maybe we can get the we'll try to and then yeah, I'll try to separate out the leotard suspenders for now. All right, substance painter time. Let's see where I left off with the textures. I have the base textures set up, so it's mostly should just be a matter of doing the colors at this point. And I think the only color I've got done right now might be just white. Or maybe red or some. I like to do colors with red because if it doesn't let me actually change that color, I can go in and adjust the hue, lightness, and saturation to recolor that way. So it's not unusual for me to make my beginning colors just to be bright red. And it could just be anyone, but bright red's a nice primary. Gives me a good starting point. There it is, AeroCore outfit. Let's get that opened up. And I did do white, so that's what we have right now. And I have a color on here right now. So these are the, we have a Lycra, we have a cotton blend jersey for the top. I think Lycra is on the leotard suspenders. I'm using a carpet loop for the headbands and the wristbands. We have a silk on the hose. I have a couple of different knit textures on the leggings. And then all of this, we can just change the base colors. So that's my base setup. Let's see if we can add leopard. That is my leopard. And this is, where did I get that from? This was probably, I don't know where, I forget where that came from now. Damn it. It was probably a resource from Attendus or something. But I like that one. So let's do this. We'll put a fill in here. I'm going to put that in front of that. And then we'll just take this and drop it into the base color. And then we'll just tile that up so it's appropriate. And this is just a color layer. So I don't know, let's say 6. Maybe a little, maybe 5. I think I like 5. All right, I'm going to go with that. And then there's my Miami leopard. Maybe I did that. That looks an awful lot like Miami leopard, just recolored. And I know this is my texture here. I did that from scratch many years ago. Duplicate that, and then we'll just update this with that. And there's our obnoxious Miami leopard. And let's see. I don't really need any stitching on this. I'm not going to do stitching on this one. I think we're good. Did I do my, I think I did the displacement map setup already. We'll see when we apply some colors. What was I thinking? I want to also get my dirt out here. Let's find the dirt. The dirt's over here. Storm Raider dirt. And where, and we just plop that on, and now we have dirty version. You know, and while we're here, we might as well add some tears to it. I might, did I do some, I did some, There's some hose tears, I think. You might try that. Anyhow, what is it? It's tattered. It's my tattards. Right in here. And we'll just drop that on. This works out best if I just need this for opacity reasons. So we'll just view that as opacity and we'll tweak those. What I'd like to do is turn most of these off and keep 2 of them. And I don't know, I've never been crazy about that, so I stopped using it. So what we do is we'll just turn all of these off. I'll just like maybe grab one and tile that up a bit. Past 3 and it really doesn't look great. So let's go to, and we're just doing opacity on this. So I say 3. We'll kind of move that so we're not covering the crotch as much and trying not to get the boobies poking out too much. So that's probably good with that. And then I like to mix that in with another one. Let's just do that. And this one I like to leave a little larger. So I don't know if we say 1.5 on that. I'm going to adjust that so it just doesn't sit right on the chest there. We got our offset so we can just kind of move that around. Maybe a bit like that. My crotch is a little too... If I rotate that and get it out of the... That I like. And I might... That one... I don't know. Let's see if we can move that maybe just a little bit. I think that does the trick. Maybe I'll do that. Okay, and then we've got the paint layers. The new brush, there's a new tatter brush in town. I'll run that kind of along the bottom edges of things. Along here, along the sleeves, and I think down here. And probably would be good. No, I can't really fit it on there. Such a pain in the ass to use these pen tools, though. So, you know what? I think I'm just going to run it along to here and here. So we're going to come over to apparel, fabric edgeware, and just add that along here, and it just tatters along that edge. This is a little easier than what I have been doing by popping into Photoshop and trying to line things up. I kind of like the way that looks. I might set that to multiply. Do I want to set that to multiply? No, I think this is probably fine. Are you not? You're not closing? There we go. Escape. Then I can start a new one over here. And we could do one more along here. All right. I think that'll be fine. Let's hit save on that. I'm going to go ahead and export out this opacity map. Probably, I don't know if I'm going to touch it up on these or not. Does it? I don't know. It might be okay on the headband and the wristbands. Do I have any goofy spots like right there where it's totally transparent where actually wouldn't stick together anymore? I think just maybe that one spot. So let's just add a, we're just going to put a paint mask on here. I'm thinking, I need to just add a little, you know what, I'll probably just touch that up in Photoshop. Probably the easiest thing to do. All right, Control Shift E, actually save, export. Let's do an opacity, export that. Open up the output directory. Looking good. I'm just going to call it, yeah, your tattered opacity. Excellent. I think I have the dirt on. I'm going to, let's group these together and call that tatter. And then I can turn that off. Let's go back to material. And Control Shift E. And I'm going to do 6-channel and export that. And these are going to be the Warren versions, and that's going to be Miami Leopard Warren. Hey, Sacred Sage, how you doing, buddy? It was good to catch you streaming earlier today. There's my output directory. Let's change some names. We're texturing a 80s workout outfit. I'm calling it AeroCore. So let's take these. You got your Zaro thing work. I did notice that. And I had to run out and finish cleaning up the driveway. And then when I came back, you had raided somebody else. All right, rename with Power Renamer. We're going to change outfit underscore. Underscore. Is that right? That's looking right. And that's going to become outfit underscore Warren. There we go. Apply that. Is good. This one right here is going to become Miami Leopard. Miami Leopard Warren base color. All right, so these are all good. Is my normal map showing anything? All right, I think it is. I might have to tweak it though. So anyhow, let's cut this and put it over into our runtime directory. I don't need that. I don't need that normal map, and I don't need that opacity map. Okay, so these are the ones I do need. So I'm going to cut those. We're going to run over to our project folder. We're close. We're going to go over to our runtime, textures, me, AeroCore outfit, looking good. We'll just paste all of that in there. Shouldn't have any conflicts. Okay, so now we're just going to crank out some textures, some colors, and then we're going to put these on the outfit. Did I have a displacement in there? I wasn't paying attention. I do have a displacement. My displacement map's already done. Excellent. Okay, back over to here. All right, let's turn that off. And then we're just going to start Control-Shift-E. We're just doing base colors now because we have the underlying, all the other underlying maps are done. There it is, close, base color, export. Bum, 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 bum. There you go, that's Miami Leopard. Okay. And we'll save leopard. Oh, you know what? Actually, let me add a little highlight and shadow to this, just to help a little bit variant on the colors. I have some stuff already set up. I'm going to dial back my highlighter though. My highlighter tends to, you're not even seeing it on this patterned outfit though. It doesn't even show up. On a dark outfit, that tends to be a little strong. But on this, you don't even notice it. Anyhow, so we'll just export you out. Hop over to our export directory, impatiently wait while it generates the map. It's done. That's going to be leopard. Okay, now we need some. I'm just going to put a fill layer in here, and I'm just going to assign colors. I think we did white already, which is my base color. Right there, white is the base color. Okay, let's do black. And when we say black, we actually mean dark gray. And am I not seeing the highlighter on here? It's probably fine. I can see it a little bit on the socks, on the legworms. That's probably good. Control-Shift-E that. Export. Come over to the export folder. Sit here, wait. Say black. I do know I'm going to want pink. I guess pink, aqua, lime green, probably red, blue, and green. So, you know, let's go ahead and set those up. Let's dupe you. And let's dupe the two of these. Let's dupe the three of these. Red, blue, green, and I'm going to want an orange, I think. Orange and purple. How many do I have right now? I'm getting a little crazy. I'm going to put there. That is. I'm labeling stuff. Oh no. How freaking organized is that? Let's duplicate that. I'm going to need a white. And you know what? I am going to do a purple. So let's do that. Orange and purple. this doesn't make any difference what it's how it's spelled in here. Okay, black is done, white is done. Let's set these all up. I'm gonna just turn all of these off and we'll bring them back up as we go. So pink. I like that pink there. That tends to be about the shade of pink that I prefer. I think I want a tan and a brown. A brown would work nice with the leopard. That's the reason why I want a brown. I think, or would it work better with a tan? Tan and a brown, probably both. Anyhow. So we pop over to here. That becomes pink. Back over to here. You know what? I'm going to bring this up because I think I want to steal these two colors here. And then I can mix and match that with the leopard and it'll make a nice pattern matches. So let's dupe these as well. I might tan. I'm probably just going to do a tan and a brown, and I'm not going to sample from this. Change of plan already. Anyhow, lime green. And let's turn the leopard off. And that's kind of lime green in there, right? Yo, Art, how are you doing? Oxblood red. I do like the darker red. My room was actually painted in oxblood red along two of the walls. I don't know. You probably can't see it if I move the camera and point it over there. The back wall there. It's dark. That's actually oxblood. And it goes up until there's a white strip at the top that's about a foot from the ceiling. But then from 1 foot down to the rest, two walls are in oxblood red. I thought it looked cool 20 years ago when I did it. Actually, it's 25 years ago, I think, when I painted this room. Am I in the camera? I am in the camera. Okay. Did that get exported? That got exported. I'm going to call you lime green. And I got to remember to use my underscores. All right. It's good. Let's go move on to aqua. RGB. So I think, what is it? OOFFFF. Yep, there we go. It's basically cyan, right? But nobody says cyan in fabric. Aqua sounds cool. Cyan sounds like you're stuck in a printing press. Aqua. Your latest cowboy boots are oxblood red. Ooh. Best $20 thrift store boots so far. Nice. All right, red. And we're going to do the deep red down in here. Actually, right about there. That's not quite oxblood red, though. That's a little lighter. I'm just going to call that red. I don't really like bright red, personally. All right, blue. Same thing with my blues and my greens. I usually will darken them down a little bit. Cayenne. Cayenne is the exception. I mean, cayenne or cyan? Export that. Wait over here. That is blue. All right. Green. We'll start off with the, but of course make that darker. Maybe even darker. I like that. Now you're not sure. Is cayenne the pepper as opposed to cyan the color? Is that what we're getting? Or is there's probably a cayenne color too? But in the printing world, you have what's your RGB, you have your CMYK, cyan, yellow, CM, magenta, and black. Am I exporting this? I am. All right, over here, you are green. We are Devo. Green. Okie dokie. Orangutan. Actually, it's orange. You know what? I'm just going to say, let's just put you there. Bring you. I want this to kind of be a bright orange because it's part of the neon palette. Oh, yeah. I think when I said cyan, I was talking color as opposed to pepper. Yes. But we call it aqua. In the 80s, you refer to it as aqua, not cyan. There's orange. Purple. Let's see. Right about in here. Oops, I changed to orange. Do I want it to be? You know what? I'm going to treat the purple like I do with the green and the reds, make it a little darker. In the 60s, it was turquoise. Yeah, that's right. In the 60s, it was turquoise. Exactly. Purple. Or seafoam green. Seafoam. And there's a tan. I'm probably going to sample. You know what? Actually, that's probably going to work for my. I think I'm going to do that for the tan. And I just changed the purple. Damn it. Actually, I'm going to undo. I'm going to copy this number here. And then we're going to do a Z, 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 Z. Come over here and paste. Control V. There we go. I'm going to call that tan. Is that what it... That's a little... I don't know. I think we'll take the saturation down a little bit. I think I'm going to go with that. Purple is always purple, except for violent. Yeah, violet just... Is that dark purple? Is that what you think of when you say violet? Or it leans more towards the blue than the red? And brown. I think that's good for a brown. I might tweak these later on. Oops. I fat fingered that. Export this. And then I have to resave all of these with dirty versions. All right, we're going to stick these over here. I'm going to come back over here. All right, let's turn the dirt on. Activating grunge. Right there. There we go. And I think, did I already do a dirty Miami leopard? So we're just going to run through here. Leopard worn, brown worn, yada, yada, yada. So this is just the tedium of exporting all of this stuff out one at a time. And we'll just come over here and hang out a little bit while it does its thinking. And then we just add and I'm going to copy this little chunk right here, put that on the clipboard. And then turn that off. Nope, that's brown. I want that on. Turn that off. There we go. Come over here and wait. Yay, is good. Just exporting them out, renaming them, and then go to the next one. I wonder if there's a way to automate this. Probably, but I don't know what it is. Write code to make it. I don't want to write code ever again. code hurt head. I wish there was sometimes ways to just easily make macros. Part of this is a lot of it's repetitive, but I keep having to change, you know, like one little part that doesn't quite work out. That's where AI comes in, right? Yo, ChatGPT, do this task for me. Because I'm too cheap to hire somebody on Fiverr to do it for me. Uh-oh. Somebody turned the cap lock on. Which is actually just going. We're getting there. Did I just save that? I did. It's right there. Uh, oh, I haven't made my white. My white still says black. There's my white. And when I say white, I mean gray. Light gray. We're almost done. White and then black, and I think we're done with these colors. And that might actually be all my texture maps, because I did the tattered one already too. What's AI? Come on, Charles. You're the one who turned me on to Nano Banana. Nana Banana. A Nana Banana. Not to be confused with Nano Banana. I think Nana Banana is Angie's mother, but I'm not sure. I think that's done. Let's go. What do we got? We got our white. We got our white done. I have been playing with it. Adobe now lets you use Nano Banana. Nano Banana seems to be just the coolest one right now. I updated my background. That was Nano Banana. Nano Banana does a pretty good job of making a Betty Page with 5 fingers. You used it one time for one thing and have never gone back? I keep using it for my backgrounds. It kind of gives me a feel for how it's going. And I've lost track of what I was doing. Black. I'm down to black. I think we've got one more to go. We just did white, right? We're on black. Somebody out there is going to figure out how to make DAZ products using AI and then put all those PAs out of business. All right, that's black, and I am done with my textures, I think. Control V. There we go. it's an image editor, not it. I know it's an image editor, but it does really good at just image generation. So using Adobe Firefly, they have access to a whole bunch of the. Although I haven't played with Midjourney, I think Midjourney's off in its own little world. I'm not sure what's going on with it anymore. All right, we've got our colors done. I've got my displacement maps done. We can start setting up these material files. And then I have to kind of come up with what I want the hero textures to be. Do we want to go with a leopard? Or do I want to go with maybe ugly neon? I don't want to use ugly neon as the hero texture, though. I'm tempted to use one of the... my 80s outfit, that the one with the dress and the top. I didn't go with an ugly neon as the hero texture. I think maybe I'll see what it looks like. We'll play. Let's start putting the textures on here. Not on this. Let's do this. Do I have a thumbnail file already? I don't have a thumbnail file, so let's set this up for a thumbnail. Let's switch this to default camera. Let's put this onto iRay. Let's go run over to my dad's library. Lighting presets. iRay. Click and render. How are you looking? My lights are too bright. Let's tweak that. Let's go into render settings. Let's see. So I'm going to set this up for thumbnails. 256 by 256. Actually, that's a tip file. Where are we at? Tone mapping. I'll set you back to 14. I have to, my burn highlights is too high in my default file. I gotta fix that. That might be okay. I'm not crazy about that though. And it's my light set in here. I'm gonna turn that off. And then we'll see which one of these. I have a bad tendency using the same thing over and over again. Oh, animation is tedious. I agree. I can animate, but I just don't want to. So I admire people like Sage and Quasi who have the patience to do animations. It looks really cool. I think I'm going to tweak my render settings to be a little bit brighter and maybe a little more. Does that look okay? I kind of like that. Let's come over here. Let's set the exposure to, if we say 13. Is 13 working for me? This is looking fine. I think I'm going to go with this. Best way to animate costs a lot of money. It's called mocap. Oh, DAZ products are so watered down now. You only buy certain creators. So many. I'm sorry, dude. That's kind of annoying. All right, we're going to put our materials on here, but we're not going to do it with This is what I'm going to render with later, but this isn't what I'm going to use to put the materials on. I'm going to put the materials on an object that actually has everything grouped together, which is what we're actually using over here in Substance. So I have to load this thing into, and I have to add a couple materials to this because we added some new materials, right? Okay, file, save as, scene. You're going to be AeroCore for thumbs. Save that. And then I'm going to hide you. We're going to import import Substance. We're going to use this one right here. Accept that. I have to add a couple materials to this. And it really doesn't make any difference where they are, but I'm going to kind of put them in the right spot. But not completely. I just really need the material names in here. That's all I really need. So I can save the settings. So we're going to come in here. I'm going to switch you back to wire shaded. I'm going to select that. We're going to grab a couple of these right here. I'm going to assign that to the straps. So let's come over here, tool settings, create a surface from selected. You are suspender leotard straps, and accept that. And then what I need is, I'm just going to grab a couple of these, hit that, create from surface, suspender leotard straps, trim, accept that. And I've also added a little material zone down here, and that's hose trim. So we got to add that in here. Hose trim should be good. Accept that. And then we're going to start setting these up. Here, we'll switch back over to texture shaded. We'll come into surfaces. I'm going to apply my generic shader. There we go. We're going to come over to here and here and here and here, here and here and there. I do have a white. We're going to redo this white though. You looked at a mocap suit, etc., like thousands of dollars. He said, nope. Yeah, you really need to be able to be generating income if you're spending that kind of money on it, right? I don't know. Are there poor man, or you just really don't want to do a poor man's mocap options? I'm not even sure if there's like stupid little apps that'll do that. There are the mocap libraries though, right? I think Adobe had one of those, part of their Creative Cloud. I forget what it was called. I thought for a while it was like free, but I don't know if they if it was still free or not. I think Jay played with that using pulling in some of those for animations for Unreal Engine. All right, we've got our setup here. Let's start doing this. There are poor man mocap ways, but you need an Apple phone and not an Android. Oh, That's too bad. I do have an Apple phone, but I wouldn't have paid for it. Actually, I did pay for one because my partner likes her Apple products. It's just, it's just easier for her to not have to think about uh, learning a new operating system because she just uses her iPad all the time. So it's just easier to get her an iPhone. And then she just doesn't use it. Anyhow, so we have Metallicity. We're going to put that over here. Nope. I got to scroll up. There's our Metallicity. There's my Metallicity. I'm going to put you right in there. I'm going to start with, you know what? I think we'll do white to begin with. And then we are looking for my normal map. My normal map doesn't look quite right. I'm going to maybe resave that. Is it still open? This is still open. All right, let's turn the dirt off. Let's take a look at this stuff. And do you have a normal map turned on? You do have a normal map. You have a normal map? Yep. You have a normal map? Everything's got a normal map, so there should be something in there. Okay, so we will just use the normal map. All right, let's drag and drop our normal map in. Boop. Outfit opacity. I am going to put the opacity map on here. It goes right there. Cut out opacity. There should be a height map. Arrow outfit underscore height is what we're looking for. There's the height map. All right, we'll put that there. And I see my displacement map right there. Should be good. A couple of things we need to do. I need to put layer levels on that. And I might tweak the displacement on the wristbands and the headband. I think we'll kick that up to maybe 0.4. I'm going to reset the size of my render for a second here because I can't, at 256, I can't see how this is rendering out. So let's just make you like 1600 by 1600 for a little bit. 1600, there we go. And I'm going to do a test render on this. Let's see how we're looking. Oh, my memory usage is already near 10 gigabytes, just chillaxing out. You know what? I'm going to hit save on this and we're going to close this down. Take that off the, reduce the system usage a little bit there. I think that's fine. I like how that's turned out. I think we're good. I might tweak the roughness a little bit on here and here. Just to add a little more sheen to it. Other than that, and maybe tweak the displacement level up just a hair. I think we're going to do that. All right. Let's shut that down. So everything but the headband and the wristband. So we're going to come down here and I think I'm just going to tweak that up just a 0.5 millimeter. Make that 0.2 instead of 1.5. And now that I've closed Substance down, I want to use it again. So let's reopen Substance. We're going to look at maybe adding a little more to the roughness here and here. Let me take a look at what the roughness map is looking like. You know what? I forgot to add the roughness map. There's my problem. Damn it. Damn it. Damn it, Janet. Chris left out his roughness map. I went to all that trouble to make a roughness map and then didn't use it. There it is. Yeah, I think that'll... And then we'll just recheck that. Right there. There it is. All right. Let's test this out. No, you can't forget the roughness map, man. It gives you that nice sheen if you need it. Okay, you I don't need anymore. Sorry. Go back to sleep. Okay, did I hit it render on that? I did not. Control R. All right, let's see how this looks. It had a nice matte finish, but I wanted a little bit more sheen on the hose and a little bit more sheen on this. I think I am going to punch that up, though, and punch that up a little bit. And I'm just going to do that with Photoshop. So we'll turn that off. We'll come over here. So I'm going to take our roughness map and open with Adobe Photoshop. I'm going to load in our template with this. Go get the template. I'm just going to drag and drop that like so. I'm going to expand my selection just a little bit. And I'm going to, this is kind of like adding an ID map. New layer. Okay. I'm just going to fill that in. Just because I need something that's easy to select. And then what I want to do is I want to update the hose. And I want to just make it darker. So, did you not do anything? I've got nothing selected. Control M. There we go. And the darker it is, the less rough it is. So I'm going to do that for the hose. We'll try that. And then I want to tweak the roughness on this part as well. So I'm going to just do that. Come back here and I'll do the same thing. Darken that up a little bit. Let's see how this works out. File. Export as JPEG, looking good. Export. And I'm just going to overwrite the roughness map there. And then we'll pop back over to DAZ. We'll hit render again and see how this is looking. So the hose should be shinier and the leotard should be a little shinier. I'm not really seeing that being a little shinier. It could just be my lights too. Let's pop some more lights in here so we can get harder, some more highlights. Which means I'm also going to darken this a bit probably when we do that. All right, let's pop the light set in here. Let's get that rim light turned on. Let's see how this is looking. This may blow out the white a little bit. With all this extra light in here. You know what? I'm fine with the hose. You still aren't looking that shiny. Do I want it to be much more shiny though? Or am I happy with that? I don't know. I think I'm going to stop futzing with it. I think I'm going to live with that. He said thinking about futzing with it. Hose, not hose. This is good. This is good. We're going to live with this. All right, that's white. We're going to save this. I'm going to resave that over that file. And you know what we're going to do? We're going to turn smart content off. So that we can save fast. How does the change from 3D light affect the layperson? Most people aren't using 3D light anymore, so it doesn't really affect most people. There's this, so 3D light is just a different render engine in DAZ, like Filament. And from what I understand, from what Jay has mentioned, there are not enough people using 3D light anymore for them to feel like they need to be paying a license fee. And so at the end of the year, the license is up. And so they're going to stop using it. So for most of us, it doesn't really make any difference. Me, I wasn't using 3D light anyhow. My products are all iRay. iRay's the real reason why I switched from Poser to DAZ. That and the content. But I didn't like 3D light versus the Poser engine back in the day. Firefly, I think is what Poser was calling there. Firefly's a nice little engine. But, and I liked Firefly better than 3D light. It was faster and it gave me better results. But then iRay came out and iRay was just as good, if not maybe a little bit better than Firefly. That's debatable. But at any rate, the people using Octi something are going to be mad. Oh, yeah, all four of them. It comes down to how many people they think is using it, and is it worth spending that extra money for the license to support, so many users. Now the thing is, if you want to keep Octane, that's Octane. Well, Octane is what, an optional renderer. Did you have to use 3D light for an Octane pipeline? Is that it? However, I think if you keep your old version of DAZ, if you keep an installer for that stuck around somewhere, and I forget how to actually do that, you should still. So if you don't upgrade and you just stick with your 4.24, you have 3D light still, I believe. In general, it's kind of tricky though to not overwrite your current install with a new install. And I think the Alpha 5 point whatever wasn't even using it anyhow. I know some people were, I don't know. Were some people using Octane? It was supposed to be a nice render engine, I think. Better to have a backup. I know. If you can get your hands on an installer for an old version of DAZ, it's probably a good idea to keep that. I know Jay has an archive somewhere where he keeps backup copies of that, but you have to. Jay's a paywalled Discord. You have to be a supporter of Jay to get to it. Am I doing? There we go. We're going to do colors. We're just going to save a bunch of colors now. So we're going to just come in here. Just going to come over here. We're saving colors. There we go. I'm going to do this. Octane was questionably better, especially for render time. Okay. You know, that makes a big difference, render time. Although having to use an external render always, like, hurt my head, so I never even looked into it. Exactly. The extra hoops. All right. Where's my, there we go. We're going to come back over to here. And we're just going to start plopping colors in and saving them out. Material preset. Oops. Did I not? And I'm in the wrong folder. Filter saved. We're going to come over here. Over here. Over here. Over here. Over here. And into here. And aqua. And accept. And actually, let me do that again because I wasn't sure. All right, let's say yes to that. Let's check something here. Uncheck. Okay, I don't have any simulation settings. Excellent. So we can just accept that. Is good. Blue. Save that. Right there. Blue. Accept. All right, where are we on now? Brown. Oh, is it almost 4? Dang. It's almost time to call it a day, and we will be back tonight for the Saturday night social. I'm going to save out these basic colors. Actually, let me finish. We'll finish up the materials, and then we're going to call it a day. So I'm just going to kind of crank through and save these out. That was green. There's leopard. There's lime green. Did you not change? Did I not? God damn it, my leopard didn't become leopard. I did green. Oops. Did I just put D-Force on that? I think I did. Can I undo that? Nope. Let's come back over here to simulation settings. D-Force. Is there a remove? Remove D-Force modifier. There we go. All right, let's try this again. Boop. I think my green wasn't green. I think my green might have still been brown. Yeah, my green's looking awful brown. Sometimes dragging and dropping in DAZ doesn't quite work. Okay. And then, I don't know if I got lime green done or not. There's Miami leopard. Orange. Pink. Purple. And red and tan. And we already got white done. Okay, now we're going to set up to do the Warren colors, then we're going to call it a day. So a couple of changes we have to do with the Warrens is we have to update the metallicity with a Warren metallicity, a Warren metallic map. And then also we're going to update the roughness with a Warren roughness map. And then we use the Warren colors in the color channel. And then we save these out. And then these become Warren yada yada yada. Should I say Aqua Warren or should I say Warren Aqua Solar Warrens are grouped? I'm going to group all the Warrens together. We'll do that. That's black. That's the Warren black. Here's the Warren blue. Here's the Warren brown. Warren green. Warren leopard. I have 13 colors and then 13 Warren versions. I don't know. Should I just make that 14? Avoid 8 years of bad luck. I might add maybe another pattern or two. If I make this 15, maybe a couple more patterns, I think. We'll do that. I'm not sure what they're going to be yet, but I think I'll add 2 more, make it a nice round 15. I'm not sure what they'll be yet. I'll think. Maybe I'll just do some nice florals as options. All right, where am I at? I'm on the Warren orange now. And pink. I don't think I saw. I think the pink dropped. Yeah, okay. Purple. And then we're going to look to see who's on. I wonder if Toilet's feeling better. Toilet streaming purple today. We'll check. We'll see. What do we got? We got red, tan, and white left. And the Warren White. There we go. Okay, I still have to do some opacity maps. So we need to do a default, a full, and the tattered versions for opacity maps. I'll do those later. So we have our 26 basic colors. I think I'm going to add 2 more patterns to that. Make it for a total of 30, 15 clean and 15 dirty versions. And this is where we're going to stop for the day. Thank you all for being here. I really appreciate it. Let's see who is on the Twitchers. Look at that. It's only 4:03. That's not too bad. Let's take a look at who's on the Twitch first. We will be back tonight, 8 p.m. It's the Saturday Night Social, last Saturday of 2025. Feel free to join the Discord. If you drop stuff in the gallery, we can share it tonight. Discord. There we go. Charles, thank you for being here. Check out my man Charles. Hasn't been streaming, but does have a cool Discord. Excuse me. What else? Buy my stuff at Dad's. There you go. Buy my shit. Buy my shit. And what are we doing? We're looking for somebody to raid, and then we're going to call it a night. I got to find a cartoon for tonight, too. Where are we at? Where are we at? We're over here. I'm going to come over here. And we're going to go down the side, and we're going to see who is at. Where are we at? And I can hear myself in the background now. And that reminds me, we probably should put the Christmas decorations away. Sally Quinn is just getting started, it looks like. So that's an option. However, if Toilet is on, Toilet will be our raid target, I think, today. If Toilet isn't on, I think we just raided Sally Quinn last week. So maybe somebody else this week. Unless I can't find anybody else, in which case, maybe Sally. Hex Tier. All right, we'll raid Hex Tier. Am I following? I'm not even sure if I'm following them. Is that the... Oh, that's the artist formerly known as. We'll do that. We'll do that. Cozy Art Stream. She's an absolutely wonderful graphite artist. Or does she do charcoal? So we'll go over there. We'll do that. Thank you all for being here. Let's do that. We have raid calls. Hey, if you're on YouTube, I appreciate that. Like and subscribe. That would be awesome. If you're on Twitch, feel free to stick around and join the raid. Sub raid. There we go. We're going to do this. We're going to go over and say hi to X-Tier, who is formerly known as something else, which has already fallen out of my brain. Anyhow, thank you all for being here. If I don't see you tonight, hope you have a good rest of a Saturday or Sunday for those of you on the happy side of the planet. And let's do this. Is it slash raid Hex Tier? I believe. Check links for down. That's. I'll have to figure out how you can get those. I'll try to set you up, Art. Is that good? I think that's good. Let me pop back over here. Let me copy my raid call. Let's, and we've got 4 viewers ready to raid. Excellent. All right. Thank you all for being here. Yeah. I'll hopefully see you tonight, 8 p.m., Saturday Night Social. Hasta la vista, baby. Something like that.